Hello, my name is Allison Haidu-Paulin. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and staff therapist at the Student Counseling Center at Pacific University. Welcome to the Mindful Coping Practice Series, Session 1. If you would like to learn more about the purpose of this series, please go back and view the Mindful Coping Practice Series video introduction with all three staff that will be facilitating the 3 sessions. We also go over a brief background of mindfulness and its benefits, as well as the structure of the video series. So this Mindful Coping Practice Series arises from an evidence-based group utilized on many university campuses based on the concepts of recognition, insight, and openness, which we will cover in the 3 video sessions. We recommend you watch them in order, as each session introduces material that builds on previous sessions. People who report the most benefit from this series also practice the exercises in between sessions and after the series has ended. In the Mindful Coping Practice Series, we will introduce tools which are conceptual, such as introducing useful metaphors or thinking strategies, and experiential, such as introducing mindfulness meditations to shift your interactions with your internal experiences of psychological pain. I will be pausing at various points with prompts for you to record your reflections in the student workbook, also known as a journal, which is provided on our website. It can be helpful if you've already downloaded that. I will also put those prompts on the screen when it is time for you to do your journal reflecting. The skills of the Mindful Coping Practice Series are difficult ones that can take time to fully develop, and that is okay. Give yourself space to learn, room for doubt, and permission to keep going if you fall back, make mistakes, or get tripped up. It might make you feel uncomfortable. If it ever feels like too much, please do stop doing the exercises for that moment. Most people seek support for psychological pain or unwanted experiences. In the Mindful Coping Practice Series, we will be focusing on these internal experiences or responses. Those can include thoughts, memories, images, feelings, physical sensations, and urges, which are distinct from the external events which might cause those, such as academic stress, a relationship breakup, or family conflicts. The purpose of the Mindful Coping Practice Series is not designed to get rid of or solve whatever it is that brought you to this series. Instead, it's designed to reorient you to the issues that prompted you to seek support. It's designed to create flexibility in how you view and approach these issues and experiences, and to propel your change process forward. So this first session, we will focus on recognition, which is about pausing to look at our experiences and build awareness of those experiences. Kind of like using a map, we have to understand where we are in order to see where we can go. So today, we will learn to find the "You Are Here" marker on a map. More specifically, it's practicing approaching our reactions to our uncomfortable internal experiences and recognizing when or how we may be stuck. So we will work on developing an awareness for our experiences, acknowledging whatever it is that is bothering us, and being present with an attitude of curiosity and compassion. We're going to start with a short exercise to begin to practice recognition. We will focus on an unwanted internal experience. There may be an external event which prompted the internal response. For example, if you experienced a breakup, that would be the external event. The internal experience would be perhaps feeling sad or rejected or lonely. So if you feel comfortable, please go ahead and close your eyes or soften your gaze on an object in your room. And think about what brought you to seek out this Mindfulness Coping Practice Series today, perhaps a particular unwanted internal experience or psychological pain that you've experienced recently. I want you to visualize whatever that was. And then go ahead and draw a circle around that in your mind. And next, think about what you've done or tried to do to manage that experience to date. What you might have done to make it go away, to avoid it, or to change it. And then draw a box around that in your mind's eye. Now please open your eyes. In a moment, you can pause the video as you follow the journaling prompts. If you've downloaded the student workbook, go ahead and turn to page 4. You'll notice a section labeled Facing the Current Situation. On the left is a column to list the things that you put in the imaginary box that I just talked you through, what you've tried to avoid, eliminate, or done to try to control your internal response. And then on the right is a column for thinking about and writing down what these strategies have prevented you from doing. For example, sometimes the flip side of controlling, avoiding, or other strategies is that they keep us from doing the things that we enjoy, the things that matter to us. So on the left is the box of things that you've done to try to avoid the situation. And then on the right is a column to list out how that's affected you, what impact that's had on you. So go ahead and pause the video and then restart when you've completed the journaling exercise. Now we're going to try another exercise to explore the concept of recognition or awareness of our unwanted internal experiences. This is a short meditation which is intended to help you begin to recognize your internal experience, which is the core strategy of mindfulness, to notice or recognize yourself as you are right now. You'll practice building the skill of checking in with yourself so that you're more aware of what your experience is. We will practice this skill again and again throughout the meditations in this mindfulness coping practice series. As we get ready to begin, keep in mind that you may have a strong reaction or no reaction to the exercises in this series. That's okay. Everyone experiences it differently. Strong reactions are not wrong or problematic. They're a sign that it's time to pay attention and recognize your experience for what it is. Not having any reactions is okay too, just a sign that it might take some more time to build these skills. Expect to feel uncomfortable. As simple as these exercises appear on the surface, they are very difficult. If it ever feels like too much, again, feel free to stop doing the exercise. Know that stomachs often rumble during the exercise. That's to be expected. We call it rest and digest. And it's okay to notice that and move on with the exercise. As I read this meditation, I will be posting a nature scene on the screen. Go ahead and do that now. Feel free to gaze at this picture or to close your eyes, whichever you prefer. I will pause a number of times throughout the meditation. I will let you know when we have finished and you can open your eyes. So now I invite you to get comfortable in your chair, to let your shoulders drop, and gently push your feet onto the floor and get a sense of the ground beneath you. Just take a moment to notice how you are sitting and notice how you are breathing. Notice what you see, even if your eyes are closed. And notice what you can hear. Notice what you can feel against your skin and the way your body presses into the chair. Notice what you can taste or sense in your mouth. Notice what you can smell or sense with your nose. By settling into this moment and into your body, you are inviting your mind and your ability to recognize into the present moment with you. Take a moment to become aware of your breath and the gentle movement in and out as air is exchanged in your nose, mouth, and lungs. Notice the sensation in your belly or chest as the gentle movement of air creates a rise and fall. Simply allowing yourself to notice sensations as if you are a curious scientist that has never encountered breathing before. Now see if you can notice the movement of your mind as you're observing these sensations, with no need to change or do anything about them. See if you can observe the activity of the mind becoming more evident as you notice yourself noticing your sensations. You may find this hard because the mind can be a busy place. It will tell you all sorts of interesting things to grab your attention and pull you away from what you are doing. See if you can let those thoughts come and go, as if they are merely trains passing through a train station. Just passing through as you observe the station itself. Keeping your attention on the breath, noticing your breath flowing in and out. When a new thought arises, see if you can notice the thought is just another train passing through. Simply noticing without judgment as it goes by, as you continue to feel the rise and fall of your chest. From time to time, your mind will succeed in distracting you with a new and interesting thought, and you'll lose track of your breathing. This is normal, natural, and will happen repeatedly. Once you notice this has happened, gently return back to focusing on your breathing. Now allow yourself to come back to your breath. Notice the movement of air in your chest and belly, allowing the sensation of breathing to become the focus of your attention. Noticing the coolness of the air as you breathe in, and the warmth of the air as you breathe out. Notice the sensations in your feet as they touch the ground, and in your body where it touches the chair. As you prepare to bring your awareness back to this room, offer yourself gratitude, perhaps for taking time today to be present with your thoughts, for practicing recognition, for choosing to take steps towards living your life more fully. And when you're ready, take one more deeper than normal breath, opening your eyes as you exhale. Now we will have another journal exercise to take a moment to reflect on your experiences during the mindfulness meditation. There's just space on page 4 in your workbook or on a blank piece of paper for you to jot down how that felt, what was hard, what felt good, how you got distracted. So go ahead and pause the video and jot down your reactions and restart when you've completed journaling. How was that exercise for you? A lot of times we notice ourselves wanting to pull away, pushing those thoughts and feelings aside, beating ourselves up for having them, and maybe even telling ourselves it's a waste of time or we have somewhere else to be. That's okay. This is a practice of recognizing your feelings and letting them be more than judging them. And it takes a lot of work and time. The exercise we just completed is one strategy that can teach us to recognize our internal experiences. When we feel stuck with unwanted thoughts or feelings, we can begin with recognizing what our responses are to those unwanted internal experiences. Rather than treating them as our enemy, for example, using a stick to beat ourselves up for being where we are and what's happening in our minds, we can begin by reorienting ourselves to those experiences as a signal that maybe what we've been doing isn't working. By recognizing this, we open up space to try something else. One way of illustrating this concept is with a finger trap. Your fingers are here and you want to get them out. So you pull away, but it's not working. The trap gets tighter and you get more stuck. The solution goes against your intuition or your typical reactions. So to get the fingers out, we have to lean in a little bit and maybe wiggle before we can remove them. Similarly, in our struggle to get rid of what we don't want, we often get more stuck. Counterintuitively, we need to lean in to get that wiggle room, much like we do with our unwanted internal experiences. If we stop fighting them, we can create space. And it's that space that allows us room to get ourselves where we want to be. Let's go ahead and do another mindfulness meditation. This meditation exercise builds on the last one and provides you another tool to begin to recognize what your experiences are in this moment. Some parts of it may feel repetitive to the breathing space meditation that we did earlier, and that's on purpose, so that you can have more practice and exposure to exercising your mindfulness muscles. First, I'm going to go ahead and introduce some of the concepts that are a part of the exercise. It's called arriving, gathering, expanding, or AGE for short. So the first step involves stepping out of the automatic pilot by asking yourself, where am I? What's going on? The aim is to recognize the moment that you are in. This is finding the "you are here" marker on the map or settling into your space. The second step involves gathering the scattered or wandering mind to focus on one thing only. In this exercise, we'll continue building the skill of focusing on the breath. Gathering is like grounding or centering yourself. The third step adds a level of complexity. You'll practice expanding your focus to both the breath and the body simultaneously. So let's go ahead and begin by settling yourself into a comfortable position where you are sitting, perhaps sitting upright with your feet flat on the floor, your arms and legs uncrossed, and your hands resting in your lap or on your thighs, whichever is more comfortable. Let the body express a sense of being present and awake. And remember that if it ever feels like too much, please stop doing the exercise. Now close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. If not, keep them open and soften your gaze. I'm going to provide a picture for you to look at if you would like during this time. And I will be reading the meditation. So again, close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If not, keep them open and soften your gaze, perhaps focusing on this picture or on a spot in the room or on the floor. So the first step is being aware, really aware of what is going on within you right now. Becoming aware of what is going through your mind. What thoughts are there? As best you can, just noticing the thoughts as mental events. Simply observing the thoughts. And then taking some time to notice the feelings present in this moment. In particular, noticing any uncomfortable or unpleasant feelings. Maybe these are feelings you've been avoiding or feelings that have been building, trying to get your attention. Rather than trying to push them away or shutting them out, instead turning towards them. Allowing yourself to just acknowledge these unpleasant feelings. Perhaps saying to yourself, there you are. That's how it is right now. And now turning your attention to the sensations present in your body. Just observing, acknowledging the sensations. Are there sensations of tension, of pressure? Perhaps feeling your heart beating? Whatever you are feeling, notice where those sensations are in the body. Allowing yourself to become aware of them. Allowing them to enter into your awareness. Simply observing them for what they are in this moment. Now you have a sense of what is going on right now in your body and mind. You have stepped out of autopilot and have arrived in your experience. Now gather your awareness by focusing on a single thing, the movements of your breath. Notice the movements of your belly, the rise and fall of your breath. Spending a few moments focusing on the movement of your abdominal wall, just below the rib cage. Moment by moment, breath by breath, as best you can, noticing the differing sensations of your belly and chest as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Becoming aware of the feeling of the air entering the mouth or nose, gently expanding the lungs, and slowly leaving the body. You may observe the mind wandering off, and that's okay. Simply noticing that and gently returning your focus to your breathing. Aware of when the breath is moving in and when the breath is moving out. Noticing, if you can, where there's a pause between breaths. How does it feel when you inhale? What does it feel like when you exhale? Curiously observing your breath. Concentrating your awareness on the pattern of movements, breathing in and breathing out. Gathering yourself, using the anchor of the breath to be fully present in the current moment. Now allowing your awareness to expand. Expand beyond your breath and into the body. Bringing your awareness to your whole body as well as to your breath. Creating a more spacious awareness. Noticing any areas of tension or holding. If you feel like it, briefly scanning the body, releasing any tension you might observe as you breathe out. Scanning your feet, legs, your bottom and back. your stomach, hands, arms, shoulders, and neck, face, and scalp. Following the breath as if your whole body is breathing. Holding it all in a slightly softer, more spacious awareness. In a moment, slowly returning to your usual sense of awareness, bringing with you a sense of calmness that wasn't there before, a sense of your capacity to gently hold your experiences in your awareness, holding and observing your experiences lightly, aware that they are your experiences, at least for now, and as with all experiences, subject to change with each new moment. And then when you are ready, take a deeper breath, slowly breathing out and allowing your eyes to open whenever you are ready. Let's take a moment to reflect on your experience with this meditative exercise. How did you feel before we did this exercise? And how do you feel now? What were the distractions? What made it difficult? And what did you appreciate? What did you want more of? You can jot down your reactions on page 5 in your workbook or on a blank piece of paper. Go ahead and pause the video and restart when you have completed your journaling. Before we wrap up this first session of the Mindful Coping practice series, I want to give you a quick tool that you can start using right away. It's a language tip that helps you with recognition or knowing where you're at and what's going on for you. Throughout this next week and days, as you become aware of your experiences, try adding the words, I am having the thought, and whatever the thought is, or I am having the feeling, and whatever the feeling is, as opposed to saying, which we often do in our heads or to other people, I am sad, I'm a failure. Instead saying, I'm having the thought that I'm going to fail my class, or I'm having the feeling of sadness. Instead of fighting your experiences or feeling like you have to do something about them, this practice will help you recognize thoughts and feelings for what they are, thoughts and feelings. It's about the practice of observing them and not judging them. This will begin to allow you more flexibility and space between your experience and yourself, kind of like that wiggle room that we talked about in the finger trap. So to wrap up, today you learned some skills to begin to recognize where you are in the moment with less judgment, particularly around unwanted or uncomfortable internal experiences and your own reactions to them. Remember that those who get the most benefit from the Mindful Coping practice series practice the skills regularly. In addition to practicing the language tip, I'm having the thought or I'm having the feeling, also take some time to practice with your breathing and intentionally recognizing your experience in the moment. There are some apps that can help with that, such as Calm, Mindshift, and Headspace, and websites such as mindful.org, as well as online videos. There are a number of resources listed on the Student Counseling Center website, so please check those out. I will go ahead and describe a few options for you to practice recognition through attention to the breath. They're also written out on page 6 of your student workbook. One option is to pay attention to your breath by lying on the ground with your feet up against the wall and your hands on your diaphragm. And just practice that noticing and focus on your breath and on those different sensations that we practice today in your meditations. Another option is to breathe in a 4-7-8 pattern. So breathing in for a count of 4, holding that for a count of 7, and breathing out for a count of 8. You can do that 4 times, and that will help you to practice these skills of recognition and attention on the breath and your current experience. You can do that just once a day. A third option is breath counting. So each time you exhale, count 1. Do that 5 times, and then start again at 1. You'll notice that your attention has wandered when you find yourself at higher numbers, or you lose track of where you are altogether. So this is exercising a muscle, and it takes some practice. I encourage you to be patient with yourself, as well as to carve out that time. So it can be helpful to think about what's a reasonable or doable amount of time to take each day to practice these recognition skills. Could you set aside 2 minutes, 20 seconds? Try to come up with a goal that feels realistic for yourself, and consider when you might do it and what would help you remember. A lot of times it can be helpful to have a consistent time, say in the morning or at lunchtime or before bed. And maybe putting a reminder into your phone, or placing, if you printed out the student workbook, placing that in a prominent place that will help you remember. Usually when we do these in person, our group sessions are spaced a week apart. So consider taking a week to practice these skills before engaging in the next session. You can jot down your specific plan, what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, how you'll remember to do it, and any other reflections you have on page 6 in the student workbook. Please contact the Student Counseling Center with questions or concerns as you begin to incorporate mindfulness practice into your daily life. And remember that change is not a linear process. Be prepared for setbacks. Snags can be due to any number of factors, including difficult situational events, changes in motivation, sliding back into old habits, and fear of the unknown. Many people find that they take 1 step back for every 2 steps forward, and that's okay. That could be seen as an obstacle, or it can be a chance to practice embracing it as a natural rhythm of the change process. Thank you for taking this time to build deeper awareness and acceptance of all of your internal experiences.